The next speaker I know already for a long time. We have met in very strange places. He has also very different skills. He's very familiar with lots of Belgian beers. He's very familiar with old Belgian folk music. And he also has the skill to sort of behave as a Congolese when he's in the Congo and as a European when he's here in Belgium. Although I must admit that I had already some complaints about mainly European people that he might sometimes be a little too much Congolese when he's back here in the Belgian office. Anyway, this is the first time, ladies and gentlemen, that I see Geert Lejeune, the Director of Conservation Programs of WWF Belgium, in a suit tonight. So it's even for me tonight an exceptional circumstances. Ladies and gentlemen, Geert Lejeune.
Not to raise the expectations too high, I brought you something more down to the ground, on which I will come back. And after the shining stars, after the big visions of Mark, well, my role is to bring you back down to the mud where we plant trees. So imagine the town of Brussels, 1 million people, that's about the size of Goma, and we all have to cook and get our timber from somewhere. We would go to Forêt-Soigne, or surrounding forest, and we would need for heating and cooking about 1 million cubic meters a year. 1 million cubic meters, that is 100-meter football field, 100-meter high, 100, 100, 100. It's an enormous amount of wood. And that is exactly what is cut every year in the national park of Virunga. Forest of the Soigne wouldn't last very long, and you saw the destruction in the park on pictures like this, but also the ones from Emmanuel. And in 2006, Mark asked me, because I was working in forest in Central Africa for quite some years, what could we do about it? And so first came an analysis of what was going on, and you can read part of the analysis in the book that is for sale later. The analysis was quite quickly done, that first of all, growing trees and making charcoal of them is a profitable business there. And I still want to invest some of my money there, but with the recent events I did not do so. But there were problems. One of them is that people did not plant trees because of those troubles. They are not sure when they plant the tree that it's them who is going to harvest. Secondly, you need to invest capital. You must to have some cash because the tree, they grow very fast, extremely fast. But still, it's 3 to 4 years, 5 years before you have a benefit from it. Secondly, there is know-how. You must know how to do it. That's relatively easy, but still there are a lot of people, so there's a lot of people to be trained. And last but not least, you must also know that that whole charcoal business, that $35 million Emmanuel was referring to, is controlled by militia. There is a lot of people in behind, so there's a whole chain of value that you must have control if you want to bring the money to the people. Well, we tried to address all this problem in 2 ways. First of all, trying to limit the demand by this very strange thing, which is well known to quite some of you, which are improved wood stoves. It looks extremely simple, and it is extremely simple. The idea is that when you burn timber, the heat does not go by the sides, but the heat goes like here. Which makes that when you do it well, and when you have a well-designed stove, you can save about half of the charcoal. So you need only half of it. Of course, not everyone will work on it, but still, we think that during the last years we might have reduced the need of charcoal by maybe 10 to 20% in the city of Goma. Secondly, and I will talk more about that, is that we started planting trees. And we did not plant one big block with one species and one owner, because that would never hold. But we decided for various reasons to work with small farmers, and we work with thousands of small farmers on their fields. It's their trees, and we just support them to do that. We have planted, as has been said by my colleague, about 5 million trees, and when you see such This is about, well, if you take the whole length of it, because it's about 30 to 40 meters long, that's 1,000 trees. So you must think 5,000 of these rows, which is already quite an important amount, and you have to transport them to the land. So those people have been working extremely hard. The idea that they are sitting lazy under their tree is certainly not true. People, as Emmanuel said, are working extremely hard. And so we have now, after 5 years, more than 5,000 farmers. We have planted about the size of the forêt soignée. That's why I started with it. And we see the first charcoal coming on the market. If they are in full production, this will give about 1/4 of the needs of Goma. And we also see that people, if the war can stop, because that's of course a big threat for investments, that people start replicating that. They start planting without help, looking what their neighbors have done. And so by the effect, we think we have really an effect at scale. And typically for WWF, I mean, not only do the planting in the field, we work with those farmers, we brought them together. We organized 2 big events, each time of more than 2,000 farmers, to discuss what they want to do, to discuss the future, to talk with the government. But also, we have done this work, as has been said, mainly with the help of donors, of course with our money as well, but the European Union and the Dutch Corporation were the biggest donors for this program. But we want to look as it is as profitable, and you are also stocking CO2 into those trees. Is there no payment for environmental service? So we have developed a program where we try to link what is called RED, reduced emissions from deforestation, forest degradation, to use the Kyoto language for it. There is huge flows of money which could help the development. And that pushed us also to develop a quite unique system of looking into each of those 5,000 fields, be sure it is there by high-tech technology on which we work with UCL and ULB. That's, I think, our added value as WWF. And we try to convince in the big discussions about Kyoto, about the next funding, that this type of programs can deliver for the poor people. They can help for the climate. And these are those discussions going on with the European Commissioner right in the middle there. It is important that not only, of course, we have first to curb our CO2 emissions here, but if there is money flowing, it is possible to do something for the poor people there. Here we see one proud farmer who is now the owner. He has about 1 hectare of those trees. And not only does that diversify his income, but also it's a different type of income. He can cut the tree when he needs it, while otherwise he sells the beans at the moment when everyone is selling beans. So it's buffering, it's helping him with his income, but also helping him as a kind of, well, let's say a banking investment, as we are in the right place for that. And that makes a huge difference for those people. And I would want to end by saying, well, we think by helping those people there through this program, which is around the park, that we can have the effect to allow Emmanuel and his people to crack down on the people who are cutting illegally in the park, with money going to the militias, and as such support the integrity of the park, because we really believe that for the reasons that had been developed much better by Marc and Emmanuel before, the region is better off with the park, with an integral park, than with oil drilling, even if it is going on, will be short-lived, and as we all know from the well-known book, The Curse of Oil, will not bring a huge benefit and development to the region. And that's what we are fighting as well. So we show with this, I think, that we can, around the park, with an initial investment, make better lives for the people, for the community, better life conservation, and at the same time help the climate. And that was what this program was about. Thank you.